Yo, what the fuck? What the fuck? What's going on, guys? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Not ideal. Like, holy mackerel, bro. Markets looking not so good, hey, fellas? Hope everyone's doing okay. What's up, MG? Man, my eyes are going to shit, bro. What's up, Mez, Sergeant Sandwich, Andrew, Chris, Jacob, Alex, Nathan, Daniel. What's up, boys? Mike, Dogboy, Cheech, Alex, Ben, Christ, Summerfield, Baronin, 40-year DGen, Park, Phillip. How's everyone doing, man? Can the devs do something? I know, man. ITX, I'm poor. Aren't we all, bro? Mr. Marvin. So, guys, listen. I hate to say I fucking told you so, but no, I don't. I actually love saying I told you so. It's one of my favorite things to do. But yeah, man, things have not been looking so great on the cryptos, unfortunately. You know, the market's in absolute turmoil. We gapped down, 4 or 5% on equities. And it's going to be a big week. I think this is going to be a week that you really, really want to pay attention because there's going to be opportunity, but you also just have to be careful, right? Like I'm holding a lot of cash, right? So that feels good. But if I was someone who was, 90% in crypto, that would feel not so good. So lots to discuss. I'll kind of give you guys my thoughts. I'll give you the good, the bad, the hopium, and the dopium, and then we'll see. And then we'll see. But I hope everyone is I hope everyone's staying safe out there. Key Station says, I'm about to get liquidated and lose it all. Well, that's not good, bro. Please, what can I do? Stop fucking trading. Like, if you're in here asking me how to not get liquidated, you have no business trading. There's no world where you should get liquidated. What's up, Iraq? So we'll start with Bitcoin, right, guys? So as you guys know, my theory about the weekly close and the 3-day close signaling the top of the market, right? And I've discussed this on Twitter. I've discussed this all over the place on countless streams. So at this point, hopefully you guys understand kind of my thought process on why on why Hold on one sec, guys. I'm just pulling something up here. Sorry, I'm just trying to find a tweet. So here it is. So this tweet I sent out, guys, in December, okay? Or sorry, in October. This is October 31st, when the market had just made a new all-time high, basically, right? So if you go October 31st, it's right here, right when we finally made a new all-time high. And my thought process was pretty simple, right? This is nothing new if you're a follower of my streams, but this is how I navigated the market effectively once we were in price discovery, right? You're going to start hearing crazy targets for, kind of the top of the bull run and things like that. And, once the top is in, things kind of turn fast, right? And price can quickly fall 50% or, very quickly off of the top. As you can see here, in a matter of weeks, all of a sudden you're down 30% and you're like, what the fuck? I didn't sell enough. And the problem a lot of people have is they don't know when to get out. And so I kind of broke down my thought process here, right? Market structure. First, using daily, 3-day, sometimes up to the weekly. Once we lose that structure, usually the end is near or the end is in. What happened when we broke 3-day structure here on Bitcoin? Bearish retest and we nuked. And whether or not this is the gigatop for a long time, this is confirmation here that we're at least going lower, right? And we did go lower. Even from here, right, we went down another 15, 20%. The other things that I touched on is portfolio targets, right? You have to have portfolio-based targets. So, if you're holding some coin because you think that the bull run's never going to end, at what point do you start taking profit? Right? Because if your price target doesn't hit, does that mean you just never sell? Then obviously you have your price target. So I talked about, where I think we were going. I thought, hey, I think on the base case, 100 to 110 on the low end, 150 on the high end. We topped out at 109, 110, 109, 950. So only hit the low end target so far. Is it over? Are we ever coming back? I don't know. I'm not trying to speculate on that right now, but we have to consider, I think, the macro picture now more than ever with regard to crypto, simply because we're at such a precarious point in equities where we have just been nuking through the floor. Same thing is on Bitcoin, right? Remember I talked about the weekly structure break on equities here? Back here, I was like, weekly structure break, this thing's probably cooked. Now we've had a monthly structure break. 3 days, like every high time frame on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, equities, all the high time frames are fucked. So what we have to consider now, it's obvious we're in a bear market. By definition, once the stock market drops, I think 20%, it's considered a bear market. That's notwithstanding, like that's already happened, right? We know that the trend is down. The question now is where do we go from here? Is this going to be a prolonged bear market where we have multi-month, multi-year potentially of a correction? Or is this going to be something that potentially can get reversed rather quickly? My view right now on the market is that there is no bottom for Bitcoin. There's no bottom for equity until there's a bottom for equities. And there's no bottom for equities until the Fed pivots. And regardless of what you think about Trump or his plan with the tariffs, at this point, things are starting to break to a point where the Fed is going to be forced to bail out the stock market. They're going to be forced to bail out the stock market. And they're going to have to inject liquidity. They're going to have to turn the money printer on. We're going to have to get out of QT into QE. To me, that is the only thing that ends this decline. And the question is, if that happens, does that mean we go back to all-time highs? Or does that just potentially mean that we get a vicious bounce into a lower high? Right? And like this thing's actually broken for some time. So it's pretty scary times, but the good news is we know that on the horizon, the likelihood of rate cuts is increasing exponentially. The worse things get, the more likely we are to move to QE. That's good news. The other good news is if you have money, if you have dry powder, if you have some capability to trade, you can make a ton of money on the bounces. A ton. Okay? Now, just because we might be going lower, right? Like maybe ultimately we're going to end up here. I don't know. Okay? But there is so much money to be made on these bounces during a bear market, whether it be in crypto or equities. So I hope if you guys have been following me for some time now that you've been prepared that, hey, price can go lower here. Things can get ugly. The S&P can go a lot lower, right? I'd marked out these levels. This is just from last stream. I had these levels marked out, and we gapped down and hit them all like since the last time I streamed on Friday. Now like cleared most of them. So the good news is the major corrections are when there is the most opportunity. The bad news is you've got to survive. Right? You can't buy too early, and you've got to have ammo to fucking stay in the game anyways, right? Like if you've fired all your bullets already, it's a tough position to be in. But if you've de-risked some, if you've taken some profit, if you've been prepared for the downside by selling, and you have powder ready, you're in the game and you can make a lot of money on the downside. One of my favorite parts about downtrending markets is you have price history, right? So when you have a bull run, right, or an uptrending market, when it's in price discovery, you don't know when the top's going to be. Like that prediction I made on Bitcoin topping at 100 to 110K, up to 150K, I'm guessing. Like I have no idea. Yeah, you can use some math and some stuff to try and make your prediction accurate, but you don't have any idea in reality. Whereas when the market's downtrending, you know where price should get bounces from. And when it rejects at obvious levels of resistance, you know where to target, right? So that's why it can actually be super profitable to trade the downtrend because you know where the areas of interest are for bounces and you know where the resistances are. You know where the liquidity is below the market. So the good news, in my opinion, is that volatility is where we make money. And even if that volatility is to the downside, we're approaching some pretty crazy discounts, some pretty crazy high time frame areas of support, where at the very least, we can expect some sort of bounce, some sort of reaction to make money, to take trades in. In terms of the macro picture, I do think things are pretty grim right now. Again, I talked about this in depth last stream. Like the best case scenario is rate cuts, tariff rollbacks, bond rates coming down. But like, I mean, the 10 years at 4. Like how much lower is it going to go, right? How much lower is it going to go? And we have a lot of stuff. We have a lot of stuff here that's like not good. Like, so this is a very interesting piece of data to look at, right? But this is basically like credit spreads. And once these start blowing out, usually it's like pretty risk-off financial turmoil conditions. And if you look at this thing like on the 5-year, right? And then we want to draw like a little trend line on it. Like we're starting to kind of, I know, he's doing TA on the fucking credit swaps. This guy's insane. It's not the point. I'm just showing you that we are breaking out. Like the credit swaps are starting to eke higher. Now, could it do this? Like, could we get back below here and, continue going down? Sure. What I'm trying to exemplify here is the last time credit swaps blew out, what happened here? This COVID. This is like major correction, major fucking nuke, right? Go even further back. Look at 2008. Okay, so COVID, 2008. The last two major market crashes that we've seen occurred with a blowout in credit swaps. Okay, and these are the types of things where I say, hey, shit might be breaking. They might be forced to pivot, right? So just like a week ago, retail bought like $4 billion of stock. And then on, I believe this is Friday or Thursday, they nuked, $1.5 billion worth. So retail is starting to panic, right? And if you've been paying attention to what institutional money has been doing, look at like Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett's been out of equities for months. A lot of institutional capital has gone risk off and adjusted away from risk for months now. Now retail is starting to catch up. What does that mean? It means that maybe we're getting close to some kind of a bottom temporarily, but it's not a good sign necessarily. This guy's a great follow. His opinions on the tariffs here. If we're trying to refinance debt at a lower rate, wiping out trillions of dollars in value, pretty stupid. I agree. Talking about bringing back manufacturing jobs, a lot of this stuff takes years. Labor costs might be too high, and a lot of these jobs are going to be replaced by robots. So some interesting takes here. I do think that this guy's a really good follow if you're not following him already. European Union going with counter tariffs. Canada going with counter tariffs. China going with counter tariffs. Whereas Taiwan going with potentially no tariffs, saying, hey, we're coming to the table. I know Trump tweeted out something like 50 countries have reached out to begin trade negotiations. The question is, are we going to see Trump relent on any of these tariffs? Is he going to relent, or is he going to hold firm? Because in my opinion, if he relents and he's saying, listen, the tariffs are a negotiation stick that I can beat people over the head with, countries come back, they work out some sort of deal, great. But if he comes out and says the deficit's too high, I'm not removing any of the tariffs, we could be in for a prolonged recession at that rate if he's not going to budge. Because at the end of the day, I think, I don't know, there's always going to be a trade deficit with most of these countries. You know what I mean? The U.S. is the world's biggest economy. Of course there's going to be a trade deficit with some tiny little fucking country. That's basic economics. But anyways, all of the betting markets, poly markets, Kalshi, etc., increasing the chances of a recession. Obviously, one of the largest back-to-back sell-offs since 2020. Trillions of dollars lost, and then we gap down another 5% today. So this kind of goes in line with my thought process that we may be due for some sort of bounce in the near term, but it still might be too early. Still might be too early. This is just, I thought this was hilarious. This was Black Monday. I love these fractals people put. This happened, therefore this could happen again. I mean, this would be crazy, but that's what Black Monday looked like for those curious. This is just a drop on futures. And then you got guys like Blunts, who's, been pretty good at calling the top. He thought, Solana topped here. Called this back in February, losing 220. Now he's saying we rebuy at 36. 2027, we're in a bear market till then. So it's a messy situation, right? It's a messy situation. But ultimately you have a couple ways that you can view this, right? You can view this in the doomer sense, where it's fucking over, my coins are going down, and the economy's fucked and Trump's tariffs and blah, blah, blah. Or you can be a fucking man, grab your fucking nuts, put them on the table, and realize that like these are generational opportunities here that we're being presented with here. Because the bet on equities, okay, the bearish bet, what's the one that goes the farthest? Oh, fuck you. Okay. The bears are betting that this ends. The bears are betting that this ends. Okay, so we're either here, right? We're here, whatever, right? And then this thing's going to continue. Maybe this goes lower, right? But then it's eventually going to continue and make new all-time highs. Or we're basically seeing the end of American exceptionalism, the end of a period of time where America is the dominant economy and the superpower, where everything is based on the American dollar, and then, you know, China takes over, right? Like that's the bet. So the bet that I'm gonna make is that we see continuation of American exceptionalism and the American economy, and America being the lead globally when it comes to kind of trade, the world, etc. Because like that's the bet you're making. So like we're either in the beginning of the most generational, like we're getting into generational opportunity to be made into a king, like kingmaker opportunities, once in a decade type of opportunities here. Or it's fucking over, and then we got way bigger problems to worry about anyways, right? Like if this is over, like let's the worst case scenario is like, hey, they Fed hits QE here, bang, we get a vicious rally, but it makes a lower high, and then everything rolls over again. Well, then it's like, okay, are we just fucked? Like, you know, it's over, right? Digital IDs. Fucking CBDCs, you're eating bugs, you own nothing, and it's fucked anyways. Or, like, are we eventually going to find a bottom, and then it's back to business as usual, right? And I think one of the main differences here with the fact that we have this, you know, tariff situation is that maybe some of this has been engineered. But, yeah, listen, if this is, like, the real deal, we're unwinding years and years of easy liquidity conditions, and we're going to enter a multi-year, right? This was a year and a half, multi-year recession. It's possible, but look what happened after. Yeah, it took years to recover. We bottomed in 2009. We didn't make new all-time highs again until 2013. But again, like, this could be the beginning of an unbelievable opportunity. So it's how you want to view it. And I do think that there's a lot of money to be made regardless of the direction. Right? Regardless of the direction, up or down, there's money to be made with volatility. And even if we're heading into some sort of fucking it's fucking over scenario, there can be insane rallies on the way down. Insane rallies, right? Like, big bounces on the way down, right? 20, 30% bounces on the way down. And same with Bitcoin. So to me, I'm excited. I know it sounds crazy, but I am excited. Like I talk about this so much, right? This is a 50% rally on Bitcoin in the midst of a bear market. So I do believe that there's a time to be scared, right? And there's a time to, you know, I understand that. But if you have money and you're in the game, you know, you should consider yourself lucky, I think, right now. Because there's going to be some vicious bounces and some vicious declines. But we're traders. We can make money. Like, think of someone who's just got their entire retirement in the S&P 500 and they're not touching it, right? There's no opportunity. All they can do is work, try and beat inflation, and hope that the stock market goes up. Whereas you can be bullish and bearish. You can make money whether it goes up and down. So whether or not it's over for crypto, right? And we're done. This is the giga top. We've talked about this as a possibility. We have the weekly structure break, Trump launching a meme coin, the president launching a meme coin being the most obvious top indicator in hindsight. And maybe that's the case, and we're going to enter some sort of prolonged bear market. It's not going to go down in a straight line. Even if it is over, there will be crazy bounces. And during those crazy bounces, there will be lots of opportunity to make a lot of money. So that's how I'm trying to frame things right now. And I think that's what you should do as well. I think you want to frame everything with the mindset that, like, hey, the market's volatile. I'm going to try and extract as much money from this motherfucker as possible. It's as simple as that. Like, stop thinking in terms of bull run and bear market. Start thinking in terms of, where are we in price? Can I make money? That's where my mind goes. So I know it's scary right now. I know it sucks. We see a lot of red. Good chance tomorrow could be very ugly. Now, like, I'm hoping that maybe this gap down, we've just had back-to-back horrible days and to close the week, and then we gap down. I'm hoping maybe we fill this coming week, and that gives us some relief on the coins as well. So maybe we start off the session bearish, but then we end up closing this week, and we just get some sort of relief across the board. Does that mean the bottom's in and we're going back to all-time high? I don't think so. I just think that means there might be an opportunity to take some longs, right? And that's where my mind goes. I'm trying to get into trades. I'm trying to make money. And if those are short-term opportunities only, so be it. That's where I'm focused. I'm focused on trying to make money and continuing to stack cash, because eventually when things do bottom, if you have a bunch of money, that's where you get those generational spots where you can double, triple up on like a huge number. Right? Like, even if this is going to make another low, if we do this, think of the rally that we'll have in crypto. Now, to that end, I want to talk to all the decoupling people, right? Everyone last Friday was like, we're decoupling. We're decoupling. Look, Bitcoin's at 83, 84K. Even like some people I used to think were smart. Like, fucking, it's like kind of sad, right? And they're like, look at the strength. Like, Chris Bernisk is pointing out, look, BTC's up versus the fucking NQ and stuff. It's like, dude, he ruined his rep with that whole TIA shit, in my opinion. He used to be like pretty smart and post good stuff, and then now he's just become a permeable. He's not objective anymore. But like, everyone was saying we're decoupling just because we didn't immediately nuke when equity said it. And I said, listen, there's a chance that we've decoupled, but that would go against every piece of evidence we basically have ever had for crypto. Or it's just lagging. And now we're not only recoupled, we're overperforming to the downside. Okay? So anytime people talk about decoupling, just know that you're probably listening to someone who's retarded, and that we're probably going to catch up super aggressively. And that goes for up and down. But it's interesting because there's still people who are talking about Bitcoin as like, we're made for this moment. We're digital gold. We're the store of value. We're the hedge against inflation. But we've had no evidence of that to be true yet. Has there been periods of time where Bitcoin has done okay, where stocks have gone down? Yeah. But on the whole, right, Bitcoin has pretty much shown itself to just be a really high beta, like NASDAQ. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's periods where it's different. There's periods where it's fucking different. But you can't tell me that these things are uncorrelated, dude. Like, you can't. I'm sorry. Like, they're correlated, bro. Look at the top. Okay? Look at the bottom here. Okay, now are there little periods where, look, oh shit, NASDAQ went down and Bitcoin didn't go down quite as much? But, like, it's the same, dude. Here's the top. Here's the top. Look at the bottom. Look at the bottom. Okay, like, so this whole idea that, like, Bitcoin is this, oh, you, like, I mean, like, I'm not trying to dunk on Salsa, because Salsa's my boy. I like Salsa. We're friends. But this is what I mean. This is fucking hilarious. Look at this. We're eliminating capital gains tax. Bro, there's no gains. No one's got any gains. Oh, what a fucking goofy goober. What's his fucking name? Salsa. Salsa Tequila. So, like, again, I'm not trying to dunk on Salsa because he's my boy. But basically, this is the kind of tweet I'm talking about. So imagine being in crypto for a decade, trading little coins, grinding in the trenches. Then comes a day of global chaos and uncertainty, and a day for Bitcoin. And you short it because of the American stock market. It must be lagging. Just quit. It's like, bro, but it is the stock market. Like, it is the stock market. We have, and I commented this as much, like, we have zero evidence that this isn't just this. So if it's indeed lagging, that means you have an opportunity to short this before it fucking catches up. And, like, he made that tweet 12 hours ago. And, like, I mean, where was price 12 hours ago? Like, we're down fucking 7%. It caught up immediately after he tweeted. That was basically the top. And I'm not trying to dunk on him specifically. I'm just saying this mindset that crypto is something that it's not. I understand the idea of what it's supposed to be. But based on the evidence that we have so far, it's not doing that. It's not doing that. You're right. Bitcoin, sorry, I got to start the oven. Sorry, one sec. Sorry. I understand what Bitcoin's supposed to be, but it hasn't been that. So I get the concept. Oh, this is what Bitcoin's built for. So the thing is I believe sentiment is still, like, way too fucking bullish right now. Like, because if we bounce here, like, if we get a little bit of relief on stocks and then Bitcoin, like, does this, you know how many people are going to be screaming that it's decoupled and Bitcoin is now bouncing in the face of, like, global uncertainty? It just doesn't make sense to me. So anyways, I don't know. I'm just fucking ranting at this point. I don't have a ton to update you guys on. Like, the high time frame is completely busted still, and we still haven't hit either of our areas, right? Like, my last stream, we were here, and now we're here. So we're in this low time frame range. But to me, there's no bull case until we're back above here. But I'm absolutely interested in being a bull down here. Not necessarily a bull for all-time high, right? But a bull for a bounce. How high that bounce goes, I don't know. But if we come down into this monthly demand, I want to be looking to long. The bull market, new all-time highs on Bitcoin, can be back on if we get back above here. Until then, right? Like, I don't know what to tell you guys. Hopefully you got some money set aside, because if we come down here, there's going to be crazy opportunity. Like, if we come down here early this week, like, I'm buying, dude. I'm fucking bidding the fuck, because I definitely think at some point in this area, we get a vicious bounce. And I'm talking we could bounce 30, 40, 50% out of here and then still make a lower high. But if we bounce 40, 50%, think of how much Solana, Ethereum, some of these coins can go up. So those are really the main things that I'm watching here. I'm waiting to see if stuff just shits the bed this week, then great. I want to be paying attention down here. For long opportunities. Okay. High time frame. Stuff looks really bad. And it's like, okay, Ethereum fucking massively underperformed this cycle. Like at this point, where do we even look for Ethereum here? Like where do you become a buyer, if ever? And I just go to like the super high time frame and I say, okay, like we got a bunch of lows here. All right, like is there a chance Ethereum trades back below 1,000? Yeah. Right? Like if Bitcoin drops another 20%, you're telling me Ethereum can't drop 30? But again, like those are going to be opportunities. Like if we get some sort of crazy downward move, awesome. Opportunities to buy. Same with like Solana. Like you go on the monthly, it's like, okay, took out that low. Where's the next one? 80? Maybe here. But like sub 100 Solana seems inevitable, no? And just Bitcoin retracing kind of the Trump pump. And Saylor, what's crazy too is like Saylor's average buy is like right here. It's like 69,000. Like that seems like a magnet. You know? Yeah, on Ikaige guy says Bitcoin's never been in a recession. Correct. How do you go about finding great rebound opportunities? Well, that's the beautiful part about a downtrend is we have price history, right? So if you know where price came from, when it starts going the other way, we can say, okay, well, maybe this will generate a bounce. Maybe this will generate a bounce, right? Like we have levels that we can look for potential reactions, right? And so that's all we're doing on Bitcoin is I'm looking at this thing on the monthly and I'm saying, okay, we've got demand here on the monthly and we've got that prior all-time high level at 61 and then we got these highs here at 71. Like this to me creates a bounce. How high? I have no idea. Like if this just does this, maybe it doesn't even bounce that high, but it will give us a bounce, I believe. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to be looking for opportunities to trade that bounce. Maine, do you think market structure is more important than liquidity and SFPs? Yes. Right? Because if market structure is bullish, okay, and then you're looking to short every bearish SFP, you're going to get blown out a lot. I did not say bottom a few videos back. My clickbait title said bottom, but I'm fucking playing the clickbait game, bro. If you watch the videos, you know that's obviously not the case. We've been talking about this 60 to 70K area for literally months now. But I've been doing a lot of clickbait on the titles because it works. Ever since I started doing the clickbaity shit, all my views on streams are going up. So why is everyone dunking on Key Station here? Nathan says, I'm a multi-millionaire LMAO. Give me some money then, Nathan. What the fuck? Where would you buy for a long-term spot hold? I don't know, like below 50, like as close to 50 as possible. Like the deeper we can come into here, the better the value is. What's up, Arl? Black Monday's trending. I doubt they'll give us such easy shorts tomorrow. That's kind of what I think too, right? Like you have Jim Cramer calling for Black Monday, and I'm just like, okay, like what are the odds that everyone and their mother is short and calling for Black Monday, and we just do like one of these? Like we start off bearish, we gap down, we like make a new low, and then we bounce to end the day, and the candle closes like this. Right? Oops, that's backwards. Like the candle closes like this, right? Where it's like, and it actually closes green. That would be hilarious. And we just like, again, right? Up, down, up, close kind of thing. Is the bear market confirmed? Yeah, I mean, my opinion, like we've been in a bear trend, whether it's a bear market or whatever you want to call it, right? But we've been in a bear trend as soon as we lost weekly structure. And if you guys remember, right, like I talked about this 3-day break being it. And then the weekly was a little tricky with that SFP, but we went on to break the weekly structure the very next, week. Do I remember you? No, I just saw your name. I'm sorry. Am I supposed to remember you? Well, imagine the Becker coin followers. Exactly, bro. I mean, guys like Becker, I think he's funny. At least he admits he's a KOL, but like all of those coins, like he's been telling you to buy ETH since like 3,500. Don't worry, the guys who buy now are going to be rich in the future. It's like, bro, you've been saying that since price was 50% higher than it is now. You know what I mean? And so there's a bit of a danger in like those types of people because they lead sheep to the slaughter, right? You go on crypto YouTube and the people you are initially presented with are just permabulls. These are the altcoins you need to buy for the year. This is what you need to be doing, right? And that's the stuff that gets views, unfortunately. That's part of the reason why I'm playing the clickbaiting game, because I'm trying to expand my reach on YouTube without just turning into some fucking turbo douche permabull, because I don't want people to lose money. Obviously, people are going to lose. Most people will lose money in trading. It's inevitable. But if I can at least direct people to make better decisions, that's good enough for me. But a lot of people are getting absolutely hosed by following people who they thought were smart, but they actually were just bulls in a bull market. I actually have been going ham on TikTok, guys. Not in terms of like getting fucking followers, in terms of like I've posted like 15 times in the last 3 days. I'm trying to post on there every single day. And, like one guy made this post. This guy's got 1 million followers on TikTok. And his advice was telling people that they need to learn to trade. That's what you should do. You should learn to trade because meme coins can get rug pulled and all this shit. I think that's horrible advice. Yeah, I really do. Because most people are going to get, and he's like, oh, if you only got $500, just use leverage. It's like, dude, most people have no business trading. Most people are better off just trying to buy low and hold. And then if it goes low again, buy more and hold and just wait. Time in the market is way easier than timing the market. I teach people to trade. I built a brand on it, and I want to continue to help people. But most people will fail and end up losing more money than they would have if they would have just like bought and held. What is my max 1 rep max bench press? I have no idea. I haven't done a 1 rep max. Right now, I'm doing 2 plates, but I'm doing like a 5x5. So 5 sets. So I do warm-up sets, and then I work up to 5x5 on 225. I haven't done a 1 rep max in a long time. You said, let's hang out in Dubai, and I said, no. That does sound like me. Is there a world where we reverse here? I mean, yeah. Right? Like I talked about this trade setup in multiple videos now, right? Where it's like, okay, we come and retest this and it's the over under. Whether it's the over under or we get a little bit more of a nuke, like so maybe tomorrow starts with a sell-off on equities and we get one more low. But there's a world where like we get some sort of bounce here. But reversal to new all-time highs, I don't think so. If we get above here, great. But until then, any sort of significant bounce that gets generated from here or from here, I'm expecting a lower high for the time being. Who's going to die in White Lotus? That's a good question. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen White Lotus yet. Who's going to die in White Lotus? I think... Who's like the obvious? I don't know. The actress chick. Or Lori. I don't know. This season's been meh for me. Like, they got fucking Lucius Malfoy with like an interesting storyline, and then all he does is fucking pop pills and sleep. Saint Mayan? Saint Mayan? Okay. As a trader, how do you think people can add value to the world? They are just making money, looking at candles, or do you not believe in that? Of course I believe in that. One of the ways that I like to add value to the world is by doing what I am doing right now. I like to share what I've learned with people. So I've been posting for free on YouTube for over 7 years, on Twitter for 10 years, sharing my journey, sharing what I've learned. I'm not claiming that I am some fucking messiah and I never get things wrong, but I seem to do okay. I seem to do pretty well. And I just like to share insights with people. I've hopefully helped people save money, make a little bit of money. That's one of the ways I give back. Of course, taking care of my friends and family is another obvious way. And then ultimately charity, right? So charity is a super easy way where if you're like, hey, listen, I'm making all this money, but I'm locked in my room and I'm not helping anyone, give some money to charity. I think that's a great cause and it's good karma. Danielson says 73K tomorrow is guaranteed. 68K is on the table. Wow. Thank you for the stunning insight, bro. Unbelievable. So he's calling for a 6% drop tomorrow. Guaranteed. Well, dude, you should just all in fucking short. Infinite money, bro. Infinite money. Libs or conservative? Are you asking me which one I am or who you should donate to? Says, bro, check ETH on the 6-month chart. Now we're reaching. Once we start getting into the obscure, like, check the 6-month chart. So he says, check the 6-month candle. Open July, August, huge order block formation. I don't know what you're looking at here. Are you looking at this? Because this is not an order block. Like, I mean, what is the oldest ETH chart? This one? Like, imagine a world like where it does this. Okay, like you know? And yeah, this looks insane, but like there's money to be made. I don't know. I hope that this isn't fucking happen, but who knows, dude? Who knows anymore, dude? When ETH reclaims 2K, it means business. I mean, maybe. Hopefully. Halo Infinite was trash. So, like, what do you guys want to talk about? Like, I mean, I just think that it's like kind of shitty out here, man. There you go. Yields are dropping even more. Now below 4%. They've gapped down. Fartcoin is like holding up unbelievably strong. So here's my thesis on Fartcoin, guys, is if we do get a market-wide rally, Fartcoin is going to make the best short because everyone is bullish on Fartcoin and they're going to say Fartcoin's outperforming everything else and it's going to pump the hardest and then it's going to dump the hardest. It's going to give you the best shorting opportunity for the next lower high. Sorry, guys. Hotter rises, but whoever fucking smelt it, dealt it, and then got fucking, I don't know, you got pink eye. How much tax do you have to pay in Canada on your realized P&L? Depends. Do I like Ben Cohen? I think he's a solid follow. Very objective. Yeah, I could do some sort of scalping stream in the future. I love you, Yamate. Whoever did the rhyme did the crime, sir. Holy moly, this guy just Uno fucking reversed me. The Titcoin chart. What is Titcoin? It's down 60% since yesterday. Like, I mean, I'm just not interested in touching this kind of stuff, you know, like with what's going on. This is the Japanese index. So in general, you think we make a lower high on most A-tier things, but going forward, entered a short bear market. I'm not 100. My assumption is this. Yes, I do think we're due for a bounce soon, whether it's from here or from here. And then my expectation is a lower high. And the reason that is such an easy trade is because your invalidation is so clear. Just imagine what Twitter would look like if we traded back up to 90, right? Even from here. Like if we go like this, what's going to be going on Twitter? It's over. We're fucking saved. It's all good. But then if we make a lower high, like everyone is suckered into that. It just seems so clear and so obvious. I do think that you should be salivating at the opportunity of a bounce. Because if and when we get here and we get some sort of bounce, not just on Bitcoin, there are going to be altcoins that do 2, 3, 4, 5Xs on this kind of move. Okay, so like let's go back in time. This bounce occurred January of 2022 to March of 2022. So let's go look at just ETH. Okay, Jan 22 to March 2022, ETH rallied 70%. How about Solana? Solana rallied almost 100%, 90%. Let's go look at something like CRV, or what are some good coins from last cycle? Okay, this is that same period of time. Oops, no, it's not. This is a horrible example. Well, maybe not. 75%. But look at this. This is a bear market on sushi. Okay, bear market. But look at how many bounces here. Almost a 2x. 60% bounce. 150% bounce. 73% bounce. What are some good last cycle coins I can look at here? Someone give me some last cycle coins. Matic. Let's look at Matic. This one did the opposite. This fucking nukes. So that's a terrible example. Sand. Right? 100% bounce. So on a Bitcoin rally of 45%, we're going to have multiple altcoins outperform that bounce. 100, 150%, 200% bounces. So in my eyes, it's a opportunity here where if we do come down here and we get a bounce, there's going to be a really good chance for you to make money if you're paying attention, if you have some money, if you're capitalized, and you're ready. This one. Oh, it doesn't have the price history. Yeah. Near 130% bounce. Totally says, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay, bro. Thanks for the insight. That's why 1,000 people are watching this. So, again, the way I'm framing things, guys, is volatility equals opportunity. And if and when we do get a correction to the upside on crypto, because it is going to happen, whether it's from here or it's from lower, there's going to be a very sick money-making opportunity. And this is why I've talked about this in the past. Sometimes you got to cut your bags. Sometimes you got to reallocate your capital elsewhere, because you want to be prepared for these moments where you have dry powder and we come to an area where you expect a reaction, boom, you can go make money. If you don't know how to short, fine. But when we come here, long, right? We want to be looking to long. So you want to be ready. I do think that the next week, the next couple of weeks are going to be super, super important. We have FOMC in May. So the earliest chance we have for a rate cut is May 6th, unless they do some sort of like emergency pivot. But we have FOMC in May. Could be a rate cut there. That's not that far away. It's less than a month away. This guy says, these people don't know shit either. Well, then why are you here, bro? These guys don't know anything, and you don't know anything. It's like, okay, bro. Cool. Thanks for the input. Yassine just says alt season. I wouldn't worry so much about alt season, bro. We just want to trade things that bounce really hard. I wouldn't worry so much about calling it a alt season. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I took a loss of 20% from all-time high in December, but that 20% loss would have been more than 90% now if I never sold. So that's like the thing, like we always talk about the math, right? We always talk about the math where it's like, okay, well, you know, oh, it's down 25%. How can I sell here? Well, what happens if from here it goes down another 20%? And now from the top, instead of being down 20%, you're down 41%, right? Like it compounds and it gets worse and worse and worse. So you've got to be willing to sometimes just cut your losses. One of the best pieces of advice I got early on in my career is that the best traders are fantastic risk managers. It's not necessarily about how big your wins are and how often you win, as it is how well you manage your losses, making sure that you keep your losses small and you do not allow a small loss to become a big loss. Remember, 2-to-1 risk reward. You only need to be right 33% of the time to break even. So all of this mathematically tells you that really what you need to be focusing on is these, right? Because the wins we're going to get based on what we're aiming for are bigger. So as long as we're managing our losses well, your win rate can be shit and you can still make money. So become a fantastic risk manager. Know when you're wrong, be willing to cut and accept a loss, realizing it could become a much bigger loss. So I retweeted a clip. By the way, clips are live. I don't know if I said that, but clipping is live. If you want to get paid for clips of the stream, I know some of you have been doing them. Check the description. I'll now start paying you. But someone posted a clip of mine from a previous stream where someone's like, there's no alt season. This bull market sucks. It's like, well, there was, though. Like, whether or not it's the alt season, I don't know, man. Things are a little different right now. But in terms of alt ripping, we had multiple meme coins go to billions of dollars. We had AI coins go to billions of dollars. We had Bitcoin go from 15K to 109K. Solana went from $8 to almost 300. So like, did the bull market suck, or do you suck? Right? Like that's the problem. I think a lot of people are still waiting and for some sort of, you know, alt season to save them, when it's like, dude, stuff is down so much. Like, alt season just means that alts are going to go up for a period of time, right? It doesn't mean that alts are going to go back to all-time high necessarily. I think that that's a pretty tall order at this point. Am I short? I mean, I have cash, so I'm short. Sure. But like in terms of leverage shorts, nothing right now. I should have probably shorted at some point near the range highs here. I just didn't. Main, you identified a potential bounce zone on high time frame, but do you confirm on low time frame? Yes and no. Like for here, if we get down here, I'm just buying. If we get like sub 60, I think I'm just buying. Like below this low here, maybe down below here, I'm just buying. And I'm willing to hold that for some downside. But yeah, like from a trade perspective, right? And this is what I talked about on ETH. We had that monthly order block here. And I said, hey, this is an area where a long could form. And I said, you could just long here if you wanted and stop down there. But I would much rather zoom in and say, okay, well, we've got some sort of low time frame range here. Before I just blindly long this thing, let me see if I can get a setup, maybe some sort of deviation. And we came to the range low and we just nuked, right? So if you would have just longed here, you're underwater huge. Whereas if you wait for a setup, so maybe we get this. Okay, well now I have a much better risk-defined setup here than I did by just blindly longing. At this point, I wouldn't even necessarily long the deviation because it's so extended to the downside. I would rather wait to see if we run this and then give some sort of setup. But yeah, like this is an area to look for longs, but you still want to see something on the low time frame to give you a clue to get in. I'm just drinking water, bro. I'm on my health kick until my wedding, and then I'm going to blow it out. Bad timing for the wedding, hey? Just global recession and everyone becoming poor. BTC dominance tells the story of this cycle. I mean, it tells you that there's been no alt season, right? Everyone's been calling for alt season. Look at like a guy like Becker. Becker's been telling you alt season this entire way. They've been telling you alt season this entire way. Doesn't mean alts haven't gone up. Solana outperformed Bitcoin for a large part of the cycle. But this is alt season. Not this. Right? And even though Solana outperformed Bitcoin for a large part of the cycle, it's been underperforming Bitcoin for the last, 4 years. So it had a period of outperformance, but not so much anymore. We can look at the dollar. I mean, the dollar is, I talked about this area in the last video. It's like, okay, it's at the range low here. It's an interesting area here for some kind of bounce. But this is going to break eventually, this range. I don't know if I got tan. I just think it's the lighting. Your grandma outperformed your altcoin portfolio and she's dead. That sounds about right. Sounds about right. I mean, the good news, I think, for a lot of stuff, guys, like, again, yeah, things look ugly. But, like, you're telling me Tesla doesn't eventually get bad? Like Amazon's trading like below earnings multiples at this point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so like there's a lot of stuff where it's like, okay, Amazon's off 30% from the high. Like, still Amazon, bro. Like, you telling me this chart's done, Amazon's cooked? I don't think so. So there's going to be a lot of really good buying opportunities. And so I think, again, you've got to frame your mind a different way. Stop worrying so much about bull market, bear market. Start focusing on there's going to be opportunities to make money. There's some really big name stocks that I don't think are dead, that are off a lot from the high. Nikkei is free falling. Am I missing something? Does mine not updating? Am I looking at the wrong index? What's up, Robolt? How you doing, bro? Yeah, I mean, we definitely saw a big extraction from, pump fund. But at the end of the day, guys, like, no one made you go on there and buy meme coins. right? Like all the people complaining, oh, pump fund ruined the market. It's like, dude, well, Solana and pump fund kind of made the cycle what it was. I think a lot of people just get angry because their coins didn't go up. That's always the argument people had. Well, there was no alt season. There was only no alt season if your coins didn't go up. Like there was this shitty bull market if you didn't make money. But if someone longed Trump, you know, near lows and made money, if they made money on Trump and WIF and Zero Bruh and all those AI coins that ripped, they might say this was the greatest cycle ever. Oh, it's circuit breaker. Yeah, like Nvidia, again, another stock that I think does go up eventually. Like I don't think that this is the end. Yeah, Dog with Hat went to like 4 billion. Like you're telling me that people didn't have a chance to make money on altcoins? Keep your hat on, you flashbang me. That is a violation. I'll show you a flashbang. Ah! How do you like that? Look at the Turkish lira. We're getting fucking esoteric on this one. Turkish lira. Not good. You want to know what's fun? You ready? Where do you think that lower high formed? I'm about to nerd the fuck out. Bang, baby. Fibonacci. Oh, global recession. Oh, fucking trade war. No. 79% retracement. The sweet spot. The OTE. Come on. I'm just kidding. Oh, what the fuck? I'm looking at a completely different chart. I'm looking at the BlackRock Life Pack. My point stands. Here we go. This is much more interesting. Yeah, I don't know. What the fuck? Why is this shit ripping so hard? Does anyone have an explanation for what this fucking means? Because I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this is just the inverse, right? It's the inverse of the chart I was just on. I mean, listen, if this is the Turkish lira, guys, the good news is that me going to Turkey to get a hair transplant just got a whole lot cheaper. You know? Yeah, infinite money printing. Well, this looks not, you know, it looks very similar to this, the Canadian dollar. I mean, it's pumping a little bit right now. What do I want here? CAD USD. I mean, this is my Turkish lira. It's just getting fucking pummeled, dude. We've been getting pummeled for years, bro. Yeah, it's almost like Warren Buffett sitting in cash and like buying bonds. Turns out like the greatest investor of our lifetime is actually quite smart. Is it like, isn't he up like something crazy like this year, like billions, where everyone else is down billions? But I mean, he's got to be pretty happy. Factually, there was no alt season because Bitcoin dominance was not trending down. I agree. Like that, there's been periods of time where altcoins outperformed Bitcoin, but there was no alt season in that there was a period of time where Bitcoin dominance nuked. We did not have that yet. Maybe it's still out there. So if you want your hopium, right? If you want your hopium for alts, it's that we haven't had that crazy crash on Bitcoin dominance yet. The problem with this is, let's assume that this finally rolls over. Well, that doesn't help you very much if the altcoins you're in are down 95% already. Because then, even if we have an alt season, you're just hoping to get out near break even at that point. You know what I mean? And that's the problem I think a lot of people have, is they keep calling for alt season. It's like, dude, some of these alts are down so much. You need an alt season to not be completely wrecked. Give bullish outlook. Fucking get yourself a fucking bomb shelter and run and hide. It's over. There is no bullish outlook. That was the top forever. We're all gonna die. XRP looks like it's hanging on by an absolute thread here, if I'm being honest. Like, to me, that $2 handle, I have this marked on some other chart. Where is it? Maybe it's this one. Yeah, here, right? That $2 handle, I said, this level's big. Lose 2, we go to 160. Like, I don't really buy that this holds up. Like, this looks like it's got another, 20% to go. SPX 6900. You guys are so funny, man. Market's in absolute chaos mode. Things are breaking and people are like, look at this random altcoin. Yeah, I mean, crazy run on this thing, bro. I just don't know, dude. I don't know. I would like to venture a guess that this thing is just going to continue to sell off now. Even if it gets a bounce, I think this probably makes a lower low. Yeah, ending capital gains by preventing capital gains. Exactly, dude. Taiwan just banned short selling. I wish America would ban short selling. That'd be pretty fucking helpful, wouldn't it? Listen, we're not gay unless we go back below 30K. The craziest thing to me, guys, is Ethereum. Like, the craziest chart thing to look at for this entire, everything that's going on, is that Ethereum, if you go way back in time here to Bitcoin, okay, trading at yeah, look at this. So I'm going to draw a line on ETH at the current price, okay? Look at the Bitcoin price on the left here. Okay, so Ethereum was at the current price it's at now. Bitcoin was at 26K. Like, that to me, obviously this is just the ETH BTC chart. But like, that to me is like the worst of like all of this stuff, really. It's just how bad. Like, I definitely thought ETH was going to make a new all-time high. I definitely did. I'm shocked that it didn't. But the fact that like it's down that bad is just crazy. And that makes you wonder about everything. Like, I mean, look at this thing, dude. It's due for a bounce, but like, holy moly, man. Like, and is this not just Sol BTC? Like, we've talked about this so many times, but like, is this just not now Sol BTC too? Is this just not like every altcoin versus Bitcoin's future just to eventually trade to zero? I lost 350K today by listening to CT. Listen, if you have 350K to trade and you're trading based on what you see on Twitter, you might be retarded. Sounds like a you problem, brother. Is it ever worth buying crypto again? I mean, I don't think it's over forever, but I just I do think there's gonna be discounts. I think there's gonna be some crazy discounts that you absolutely want to take advantage of. So, I mean, it's just like a matter of surviving right now, dude. It's tough out here, but I do think the casino stays open. We talked about gold last stream. We've talked about gold a lot. Remember I told you guys it could come down to this 3-day order block and then potentially down to here. So now's time to pay attention, where I think gold is potentially starting to trend change here, right? It had a very parabolic rally. We took out the high. Okay. Now I'm thinking this might, right? This might be something that's shortable on the next pop. If retail is catching on to S&P 500 and starting to sell, wouldn't that mean XRP has massive dips since, or is spot sell pressure low? New to this, I have no idea what you're asking. I don't know what the correlation is between XRP selling and people selling stocks. Maine, if you were heavy, and I mean sumo wrestler heavy into spot at the moment, sold with an average hypothetically at 147, would you just hold and pray or say fuck it and take the 25% K loss? Can Sol trade back to your entry before trading lower? Yeah, 100%. But I'm pretty confident that it goes sub 100. So the question is, does it go to sub 100 first or after going back to your entry? And that's something I can't answer for you. You're down 30% from your entry, meaning for you just to get to break even, we've got to have a 40% pump. How likely is that right now based on the given conditions? That means Bitcoin probably has to pump, 20%. Like we need Bitcoin back towards the 90s just for you to get back to break even. Bumbaclot. One of my favorite TikToks of all time is the best Bumbaclots. It's so fucking funny. If everything is going down, including dollars, where's the money going? I don't know, bro. I don't know. If everything fucking dies, I guess you just long the VIX. Right? I mean, but, maybe it's the end of times, dude. I don't know. Like, that's the thing. Like, this is new to me. I've been around for Bitcoin bear markets, many of them. But I always had this was always undergirded by the fact that we were still in a macro bull market on equities, right? So like if you look here on the S&P 500, every single bear market in crypto, right, was undergirded by the fact that like this is when Bitcoin got invented, dude. Like here's a Bitcoin bear market, here's a Bitcoin bear market, like here's a Bitcoin bear market, But this thing's just doing this. Like if we're over, I don't know, dude. Like I wasn't alive in 2000 and I wasn't alive. I was alive in 2008, but I was in high school. So I don't actually know what it's like to be living, working, managing my own money during a true recession because I haven't experienced one. The last real recession we had, I was in high school. I was living at home. I was playing Halo. I was eating fucking Cheetos, smoking pot. You know? Maine, at Nathan is in your chat trying to sell signals. Please ban. Is there not a mod here who can do that for me? I don't even see anyone named Nathan in the chat. If BTC bounces, Fartcoin bounces, probably. Bro, I don't mean to sound naive, but can you explain to me like I'm 5 how liquidations work? When people say there's liquidity above or below price, how do these people get liquidated? Can't they just put a stop loss above the liquidation point? So these are two different things that we're discussing here, right? Liquidation simply means that you have a certain amount of margin open for a trade, and if price reaches a certain level, so if price is trading down and your liquidation price is here, your position gets liquidated. That's not quite the same as liquidity in the way that you're describing it. Liquidity is simply orders, okay? There's orders above and below price. Whether or not those orders liquidate someone's trade, it's irrelevant. But there's liquidity in that there's orders. So if I have a 100 Bitcoin long position, okay, and price is going up like this, how do I exit that 100 Bitcoin long? Well, there might be 50 Bitcoin of sell orders up here. And then there might be people actively selling at the market, right? Or at lower time frame levels in between. But between this price and this price, I can liquidate my 100 Bitcoin position into sellers. So that's all it really is there's orders above and below price. And if you're moving big money, you might need the liquidity above an old high, right? Where you say, okay, well, there's a bunch of Bitcoin sell orders here and I want to sell my Bitcoin. So as price trades up, you're selling, right? These people who are selling those Bitcoin are selling into that guy who is long. Because how do you exit a long? By selling. Conversely, how do you exit a short? By buying. So there would be, long orders below. Since you're 43, if you were in high school in 2008, you were 26 in high school. I see what you're doing there. You're trying to catch me on the math, but I was very stupid and I got held back 8 times, which means when I graduated high school, I was 26 because I am 43 now. What's my favorite hair conditioner? Fuck you is my favorite hair conditioner. Water. Can you look at Doge? 8 to 12 cents looking good. Yeah, like this is what XRP people have to worry about, by the way, is like this happening. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see it run like below this low. That'd be crazy. $0.12 maybe. Yeah, 8 to 12 cents. I see where you're looking. Possibly. I'm not 34. I don't know where you guys come up with this stuff. I tell you guys my age every stream. I'm 43 years old. Not a day over. What's my favorite neck exercise? I don't do neck exercises. I just do overhead press, deadlift, rack pulls, RDLs, squats, and then your neck just gets huge. I don't know. And you obviously got to take testosterone straight to the jugular. That's super key. That's awesome, Jakob. I'm happy to hear, bro. Why won't breakout let me set limit orders at 0? Because if we go to 0, bro, I'm going to be on the first plane to fucking Thailand and I'm going to live the rest of my days in some fucking hut. in the jungle. Excuse me. What are the odds this is a bottom? I think like pretty low. I mean, I think that this is an area where we could bounce, okay? Because we've talked about this, right? This is an area we absolutely can bounce from. But right now, we're just in a range. Like, there is no bottom, in my opinion, until we're back above here. So, like, why try and guess? Just trade. I do remember Lana Del Taco, unfortunately. Unfortunately. That was a very unfortunate time for your boy. I was getting bullied a lot. None of you guys defended me against all the evil Lana Del Rey fans. Do you polish your head? It looks like a marble. Jesus Christ. Yeah, with your fucking... I don't even have a comeback for that right now. Would help a lot. This is Taylor Swift bomb. That is funny. How do you know when you become good at trading? I've been in crypto for 4 years and lost lots of money. I put in the last $100 in November and I made a 14x by trading small. Got here once before, but lost it all in just a few bad trades. I'm afraid not to make the same mistake again. So you know when you're good at trading, when you are making more money than you lose, right? So it sounds like you're still early. Like if you're able to make more money than you lose, you're profitable at that point, right? But if you went from $100 to $1,400, right? Let me do one of my famous TraderMain hand-drawn graphs here. Okay. So here's 0, here's 100, here's, 1,000, here's 1,500. Okay. So what you're saying is that's 15,000. You went from here, like up to here, small incremental gains, and then you nuked it, right? That's a risk management problem. Your P&L is going to have pullbacks. Okay. But the goal is to try and smooth this curve out. Whereas the higher highs, it's always a higher low, right? So yeah, you're going to have pullbacks, but you don't want the pullback to wipe you out or to give back so much of your gains. You want to keep your losses small. So if you were able to turn $100 into $1,400 by taking small systematic trades, great. Try and keep up with that and don't allow yourself to take a big loss. Don't allow it. Use a stop loss. Make it impossible for you to take a bigger loss than you want to. Any tips on how to become a CPA? Don't. That's my tip. Don't do it. Actually, fucking accounting's probably going to get replaced by AI, let's be honest. But, maybe I shouldn't be telling you to not get a job because the markets are down bad right now. Can you look at Doge? Already did that. Housecoin. Ackman shitting the bed right now. Yeah, I saw Ackman basically like tweeting at Trump being like, there's still time for a ceasefire. And it's like, bro, I don't know, dude. I think a lot of people who were gung-ho supporting Trump, especially a lot of billionaires with Trump's like, yeah, we're supporting Trump, bring the shit back to America, might be a little bit, second-guessing themselves at this point. I mean, look at Popcat. Sure, you want to cry? I mean, the good news is, like, how much lower can it go? But even just in the last, 2 weeks, it's down like 50%, bro. Can these things go up again? Will they go up again? Probably. How much? Who knows? Just fucking sketchy, dude. Sketchy, trying to buy the bottom. I would much rather, wait for the bottom to form right? Like let's say it does this, and then like this buy is way easier than this one. Bill Ackman warns of an economic nuclear winter unless there's timeout on tariffs. I don't know, man. I just like Trump is unbelievably stubborn. I just don't see him fucking relenting. Like I don't see the world where Trump is like, yeah, okay, I'll pause the tariffs because everyone's putting pressure on me. Like he wants to get what he wants. And maybe that is how he wins. Maybe that is the art of the deal, is like you don't fucking relent. Please look at Inge. It was a top performer of 2021. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what do you want me to say? Can it go up eventually? Sure. Like a lot of these coins are getting to like rock bottom levels, but you know, maybe we get capitulation and then, you know, then you get your buy. I don't know. But a lot of these things, it's just like I'm not trying to just guess where the bottom is, bro. This last week, this went down 20%. The week before that, it went down 13%. 3 weeks before that, 33%, 11%. Since the start of the year, right, this thing is down 70%. So like I'm not trying to guess where the bottom is on these things. I would much rather see capitulation, you know, maybe Bitcoin nukes and then you get a big flash crash, get the bounce, and then try and buy the higher low. Because again, now I have a risk defined. Now I have an entry. If you buy this thing as it's just nuking, where are you wrong? Like if you buy right now, where are you cutting this? Here? Here? Like where's the inval? Whereas if you wait for the big down fuck you move, and then you get the bounce, you have invalidation. It's the same way I like long the bottom on Bitcoin, right? It's not about buying this, okay? If you zoom in on the low time frame, how far back can I go? There's your capitulation, okay? This is the easier buy. Because if you're wrong, if you buy here, you know you're wrong if we go below here. You know. Okay, I thought this was maybe it. Higher low, no. Whereas if you buy this, what happens if we just kept selling off? Like at what point do you cut it? You know what I mean? Hey, Maine, for us Canadian users, your exchange breakout will allow leverage position for us. We are not an exchange. We're a prop firm. So you can trade with us if you're Canadian, American, from Britain. It doesn't matter, but we're a prop firm. So you are getting leverage, both in the size of the account and the leverage in the platform. But we're not just like a trading exchange where you deposit your money. It's different. Mean, you're the sexiest man alive. Thank you. Is it the glasses? The glasses doing it for you? So I think I'm going to need to like double up on the streams this week. Like I might need to stream again tomorrow just because I feel like tomorrow's going to be crazy. Got it. Can you look at RLB? Sure. Oops. One of the craziest things about Rollbit is like I think half of the supply has been bought back. You kind of like would think the performance would be better. I just don't really know, man. But it's basically the thing with RLB has got to be a one that has more history. What has the most price history for this? Yeah, so like people forget like Roll Bitcoin like did do 1,000% like rip, even more, bigger. But it's objectively missed out on the entire bull in terms of being bullish. It's like kind of stable because they're constantly buying the coin back. So I think that potentially is maybe helping it bottom, right? Or at least hold this area. But what's the narrative for it to pump? Like after they buy and burn so much of the supply, maybe? I don't know. I don't really understand the tokenomics well enough to have an opinion. It's held up relatively well compared to a lot of stuff, right? Like for the year, like it's not down nearly as much as some stuff, but it's also missed out on a lot of the upside. Like it had its rip 2 years ago at this point. He's working for Netanyahu, America to fall and Israel to rise to new superpower. Okay, so your assumption is that a country of, how big is Israel? Like 10 million, 15 million people is running America, and it's going to be the new superpower, a 10 million person country, which is only alive because it is backed by the USA. Whether or not you agree with the USA supporting Israel and sending money over there, that's a completely massively complex geopolitical situation. I don't see a world where Israel becomes the superpower. Like in my eyes, if we fail, it's China and Russia that you have to worry about, not Israel. Master Main, on the monthly BTC chart, this bottom could be saved to look exactly like the one we saw. I mean, yeah, I've seen a lot of people post this fractal. I posted about this. I've talked about this on streams multiple times, right? Like everyone wants this, right? We all want this. So yeah, there's a chance. There's a chance, but I just like, that's not enough of a trade idea for me. Like for us to go up from here, I'm using TA. Like I think that this is an area we could bounce from. So short term, we can bounce. But in terms of trying to call the bottom for the market yet, I think that's still way too early. Need to, like, the bottom's in above here. And I'm giga bullish down here. Simple as that. Which Bitcoin do you think I'll have better luck? Which bottom do you think I'll have better luck chasing after? Bitcoin or your mom's? I'm going to go ahead and say good luck on both of those because you're going to need it. Only thing I can see taking over, if possible, is a collection of countries like the EU, Canada, UK, or a big one like China, Russia. I'm much more worried about China and Russia than I am about the European Union, in my opinion. Man, my hair's thin and fuck. Welcome to trading, bro. I used to have luscious locks. No more. I got not much to say about Fartcoin, bro. Like, I think it's outperforming. I think on the bounces, it's going to bounce the hardest. And I think on the pullbacks, it's going to nuke the hardest. What's up, H? LeBron is the bottom. Jordan is the top. Wow. Ban this man immediately from the streams. He's never allowed to watch. Thoughts on the housing market? Yeah, I think the housing market actually is quite interesting. I think it's absolutely overvalued and due for a correction. I've been looking at houses a lot, both in Canada and in the USA, and most houses I've looked at, like nice houses, have remained on the market for 3, 6, 9, 12 plus months, and they're just consistently coming down in price. You also have to keep in mind, right, that a lot of people have mortgages at like exorbitant rates, right? So I don't think... like, should you buy real estate? I think it's good to diversify. I think once you make a little bit of money, one of the smartest things you can do is buy a house and own a house. But in terms of like real estate and as an investment right now, I don't know. I do think things are a little inflated. But like the housing costs in Canada, I think is like triple that of America. And people here are poor. So we have less money and things are more expensive. If interest rates drop, wouldn't prices go up? In theory, but what happens if prices nuke first, right? But yeah, like I was looking at a house and it was at like 5 million like a year ago. Then it was like 4.5, then 4. Now it's down to like 3.5. I'm like, damn, bro. If we do the 3-tap bounce, how are you jumping in? I actually already longed Bitcoin in the Haven on this move down, but I'm like not super confident in the move per se. It's literally just like, okay, fucking hope and pray kind of trade. My home and car paid off. Taxes are high though in Colorado. Yeah, Colorado's a lot like BC where I live. It's beautiful. But if you're home and cars paid off, I think you're doing a lot better than a lot of people. So you should feel good about that. So I don't know, guys. Maybe a little bit of a bounce to start the week, right? Like I talked about here, but I wouldn't be surprised if to start the session tomorrow, we start down and then maybe we rally. So maybe a green week for our coins. I don't know. Still a little too early to tell. I'll probably do another stream tomorrow just because it's going to be such a crazy week. So I'll like to keep you guys updated. But yeah, you want to watch things like the VIX. Oops. You want to watch things like the VIX. Okay. When the VIX moons, okay, usually things are breaking. This is 2008. This is COVID. We're mooning right now. So watch for some shit to break and just be ready. Finger on the trigger. I think if we do get some sort of mega pump from here. So if we go up from here and this is the low, I think you short up here. But if we go down first, I think you long down here. Make sense? So if we do this, I think it shorts into here. If we do this, I think it's longs up to here. What's my daily routine? I wake up, I rinse my face with Saratoga water, and then I put on a weight vest and I go run around a parking lot like a retard. Why'd you mark the first low, not the one in the middle? Because it's an over-under, right? So you have the level. We trade under it, and then we hold it on the retest. It's like kind of like a pattern trade. All right, guys. But yeah, I hope everyone's staying safe. Now, obviously, something that I don't think a lot of people talk about, but I do know that it is something very serious, right? Is when the market's crashing. When things are going down, people are losing money. Things can get crazy. People can act irrationally. Do not ever risk more than you can afford to lose. If you've got a wife and kids, do not be playing with the livelihood of your family in crypto or in stocks, regardless of how much opportunity you think there is to make money. If you've got that responsibility, don't fucking do it. Okay? God forbid you're wrong and you end up losing, your kid's college fund or your ability to pay your mortgage or something. Do not ruin your life, okay? Take things slow, stay safe, don't do anything stupid. That's my advice for the majority of you. Now, if you are young and you got some cash, some disposable income, and you don't have, a wife, kids, responsibility, things like that, by all means, you can be more risky and try and take a big shot and try and hit it big in some of these opportunities because you have time, right? But that thing skews as you get older and more stuff happens and more responsibility is on your plate. It changes. I'm getting married. I want to have a kid soon. I'm not taking the same risk that I was 20 years ago when I was 23. Okay? So just be smart here. Even if you've lost money, if you don't know what to do, if you've played this cycle terribly, there's always another day. There's always another opportunity to make money. Don't do anything stupid. I don't want to see anyone posted about fucking hurting themselves or losing all their fucking money, because that shit upsets me, and it's not necessary. It's completely avoidable. You've just got to be willing. You can be willing to take risks without having a risk of complete ruin, right? You never want your risk of ruin to be something that's like on the table where you can lose it all. So, guys, I'm 43. We all know this. I graduated in 2008 at the age of 26 because I got held back 8 times. So I know things are crazy right now, and there's turmoil, and there's a bunch of doomer shit going on, but it is going to be okay. There's going to be another day. We're going to survive. There's going to be opportunities to make money. So try and change your mindset from doom, gloom, it's all fucking over, to positivity. There's opportunity abound. We're going to be able to make money. We're going to be able to crush it. And I think you'll actually make more money by having that mindset. You have a mindset of abundance. There's opportunity here to make money, as opposed to a negative mindset. It's just going to bring more negativity into your life. So hope everyone stays safe. Okay. I will be back maybe either with a video or a stream tomorrow, because I think it's going to be a big week. Barry Silbert GIF here. I think it's going to be a big week. So I love you guys. Stay safe. I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of your Sunday, and I'll talk to you guys all tomorrow. Peace out.